back to another episode of Go With The Flow. As you guys know, Mother's Day is coming soon, this Sunday. So, for today's episode, I have a very beautiful, beautiful guest. She's my mother. She's the queen of queens, Miss Zulema Redondo.
Hi.
Yeah, just kidding.
Chiquiado. Ese es mi chiquiado.
Ok, pues no. ¿Cómo te sientes hoy? En este día tan maravilloso to be on my podcast.
Oh my God, I've been wanting to do this, and now that I'm here, I'm just so nervous.
Guys, she's so nervous. Like,
Yes.
I don't understand it because if you guys don't know my mom, she's like the life of the party all the time. Like, ella siempre, she's always motivating everybody. Like, even when she's at the gym, like, she's always motivating everybody. So, like, you don't think that she's a shy person, but
I am very shy. When I was little, I was very shy, and then as I grew older, se me quitó poquito, but I'm still like
you
shy.
still get, like, shy.
Yes, very shy.
Okay. Pues,
But once I get to, I get to do my next episode of
go with the flow.
podcast,
Yeah.
I'll probably flow better.
Yeah. Es que ahorita, like, this is her first episode, so.
The first time.
Yeah, like, everybody's always shy their first time. You know, nothing's perfect, nothing's fine and dandy. So, well, the first question I have for you, Mom, is just tell them a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Zulema, as you guys heard my son say it. Y soy cosmetóloga. That's what I do for a living. I love what I do, and I love being a wife, and I love being a mom, especially a mom. It was,
It was a wild ride.
Yeah, it is.
Pero,
Being a teenage mom is a little bit more harder for me than being a mom when they were younger. I wish they were still little, but, es la ley de la vida. Tenemos que crecer. And I have 5 siblings, including me. And tengo 2 perritos, el papá y el hijo. And
Fluffy, Marley.
Fluffy and Marley. We love our dogs to death. In our fur babies. And we came to California when I was 11 years old.
When you lived in Mexico with grandpa and grandma?
Oh, no. I lived in Texas first. I was born there. Then up until 5, I believe, we moved to Mexico. And I was there until I was 11, then we came here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how was it, like, for you guys to, like, how was it for you, like, to adapt to the United States?
Oh, it was so different. It was hard. It was scary. We were so naive. Like, I remember growing up, going to my aunt's house, and there was a highway close to her house, and this is how naive it was. That there was a highway next to her fence, and we would always have barbecues there with my aunt and my uncle, and I would look over that fence, and I just would see like the lights of the businesses or the stores, whatever there was on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And I would think that it was like a whole other city, a whole new city.
Oh.
That's how naive I was.
Oh. Damn, that's so crazy, huh?
Yeah, and I remember when we had barely got here, one of my aunts invited me to Chuck E. Cheese, guys. And tell me why my mom, she put this dress that my aunt in Mexico made for me. It was like un vestido de dama. Like I was a dama for my aunt's wedding.
Yeah.
And it was like a white, fluffy dress. And she put that on me, because I was going to Chuck E. Cheese. I didn't know. I've never been to one.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. And I remember when I went in there, all the lights were dimmed. and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of arcade games and all that stuff. But at the time, I never had seen a place like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like standing in the middle of the crowd, and they were partying, getting pizza and playing games, and I would just stand there and look around like the whole night. I was just staring at
Como
all these
like,
lights.
como you were so amazed by the little things that other kids wouldn't look at.
Yeah.
Like you would look at, las luces, the architecture.
Like I don't know. Like I was
Like you
like, what
couldn't enjoy it because you were just so focused on looking at all these brand new things that you've never seen in your life
in my
before.
life? Yeah. At
Yeah.
that age, at 11 years old, and when I grew older, I was just like, I remember that moment,
Mhm.
how lost I felt,
Mhm.
and I'm like, what are we supposed to do here? Like I just stood in a
Con el
room
vestido grande.
con el vestido emfarolado, and everybody's. And I told my mom, why would you put that dress on me when
Ay,
I was just going to this pizza place.
yeah. Pero
But
es que, like, ustedes no sabían. Like, you guys only knew what you guys could afford, and you guys only knew what you guys had.
yeah,
Like,
like we didn't,
no sabían de lujos, no sabían
no,
de marcas y cosas
no,
así.
like we didn't, up until we were older too, like we didn't, none of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
ever,
Crossed your mind.
crossed our mind. And now that I'm older and that I know how much it costs, and,
Mm-hmm.
like anybody could go buy that, if you could afford it. But like it's just crazy how naive like I was, and
Mm-hmm.
like it made me think like, dang, like this is too much,
Yeah.
is it okay if I'm here? Like, do I
Mm-hmm.
belong here?
Yeah.
But I guess that's just part of growing up, you know.
In 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 a Mexican household, like from
Yeah,
from Mexico,
yeah.
como no teniendo
It was a
nada,
totally different atmosphere,
environment.
environment.
Yeah, sometimes I like wish that I could go back in time and like tell my mom, like, ser un amigo, like,
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember too, another thing, going to middle school, they put
Mm-hmm.
me in a bilingual class because I didn't know English.
ESO, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Back then they used to call it a bilingual class.
Oh,
And I didn't even know was what a stapler, that staples paper was.
oh,
And I would see people using it, but I didn't know what it was.
yeah.
And I was just like trying to press it because I would see people press it, but
Mm-hmm.
I pressed my freaking thumb.
Oh my gosh, poor mom.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like I don't want people to see me, that I stapled my own thumb. And I was just like, how do I take this off? Like I was in so much pain because I
Yeah.
stabbed myself with the stapler. And
What? You never told me this story.
I didn't.
No.
That's one another thing that I remember when we had barely came
Oh.
here.
Oh well,
Yeah.
like what was some hard moments for you, like growing up with mom and dad, like whenever you like, how we have food, like cómo fue eso, like comida.
Well, as a kid, you don't really, you just know that as long as you have a tortilla with salsa, and we were good.
Oh, pero
So,
it's crazy though because I want to talk about that a little bit. Like no, ustedes no pensaron que eran pobres,
no,
huh? Like you guys never thought that you guys were poor.
no,
Cause like it was kind of an illusion. Like you seen everything and you guys thought like you guys had it all.
yeah,
And I think that's why like no sintieron como like depresión.
no,
Did you feel like depression?
no. I think I had some depression when mom would come and visit her family here in California. And I never understood why she would leave us three, which is my older brother and my third brother. He's a year younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And she would just come by herself and bring my little sister because she was the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood like why she would leave us. And we were pretty much like on our own. You know, we were
Yeah.
little,
And you're the
and
oldest out of the girls?
the girls, yeah, I'm older than my sister, and
Out
I
of the
have
girls, yeah.
another older brother, and then it's me, and then it's my other brother, younger brother, then
Mm-hmm.
my sister, and now we have my little brother. But I remember like living in Mexico, that mom left. She would leave us like maybe for a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
She would come over here, and we would wake up early. And I remember my dad going to work throughout the whole day. We wouldn't see him, and me and my brothers would just wander off
The boonies.
in the boonies, because over there it's called El Monte.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, guys, I went there, by the way. It's very Mexico, very pueblito.
Yeah, it's like a ranchito. It's not even a city, or
Yeah,
it
like
doesn't have a lot of
no tienen carretera.
population. No, no había carretera.
No.
Now there is a little carretera, like there's somewhat, but it's full of mezquites and full of nopales,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a ranch.
Yeah.
And I love it there. I love it. Like, if one thing that I would want to do when I retire, it's have a house over there, and one day, and just go spend some time over there, and go vacation out there with my dad. He's retired now. He moved out there because that's one thing he said when he retired. He was gonna go back to Mexico, and yeah, he lives over there. So we
Mm-hmm.
go visit every so often, or he comes over here and visits us. And I love it. Like, I love where I grew up at. Like, I had the best childhood, and I had a little bit of friends, but you know,
No te hacía falta. Huh.
nada. No. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Yeah, it was the best childhood. We were always like, nobody tells you nothing over there. Like, you
Yeah.
go play
You're
the
like
whole
free
day.
spirit. It is.
Free spirit, yeah. And there was always something fun to play with, or we would go on little adventures, me and my brothers, and I guess, like, pretend that we were like, scavenger hunting out there,
Mm-hmm.
and we would make our own slingshots. And
Oh. Oh, yeah, and you remember you told me that you would get the little beetles, the flying ones?
oh, yes, yes, yes. I don't know what they're called, but there's these little beetles that you tie a thread on, and we would fly it as a kite. I don't
Like they
know.
would they would envision a kite, but it was like the little flying beetles, and they
Yeah.
would hold it. Like
And
imagine that, guys. Like that's so fun.
yeah, we would do that.
Like it sounds so fun.
It was,
Like to
it
have a
was.
childhood
And I remember
like tan
another,
humilde.
like, there was this little mountain of dirt,
Mhm.
and I remember that, like, we would see things on TV, like, people that are rich and people that are poor, and so, we had an idea of like what's being rich and what's being poor.
Yeah.
And of course, us living, in our humble town. It
Yeah.
was a humble small ranchito. Um, I remember we would pretend, or like imagine that we were rich,
Oh.
and we would build little stairs
Uh huh.
on the dirt mountain, and we would pretend that
Tenían
this
un.
house had stairs, and like you
Oh.
could go upstairs, and if you didn't have stairs, like, you were poor, so you stay on this side of the house.
Oh my
And
god.
then I remember me and my brothers would get mad at each other and be like, "You're not going upstairs. Like, no vas a ir para arriba. Tú no te vas a ir para arriba de los escalones." So we would get mad at each other, and we would kick the stairs that we
Oh
built.
my god.
Yeah,
I can already see that in my head.
yeah.
Were you what type of like sibling were you? What like were you the Llorona? Were you the
No,
fire? Were
I,
you
I
the
was like kind of like a tomboyish, like I was,
Yeah, I feel
you know,
like my mom has always had like more masculine energy.
yeah, like, I remember I used to hate dresses. I would dirty my dresses on purpose that my mom would put on me
Really?
so I could take them off.
What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I like dresses now that I'm older, but
Hmm.
I didn't like dresses
I
back
think it's
then.
because you grew up with more male.
Yeah.
more males, huh?
Yeah, and we were always doing guy things. Like
Yeah.
we would go, like my
Like mi
grandpa.
mamá no tenía chance de ser mujer, mujer, como es ser mujer,
Yeah.
porque tenía obligaciones de cosas de hombres, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's some things that men and women can do.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, a girl can change a car, a man can change a car. Like, that doesn't define it. But some things, like, I feel like your dad would put, like, a lot of pressure on you, huh?
Yeah,
To
he
do.
he would, like, we would have to get up, and we had a big old corral lleno de chivitos, and every day when my uncle would take them out to go walk them entre el monte, like you had to take them out there so they could eat and walk them, just
Mm-hmm.
like you walk your dogs, the animals had to walk too and go,
Yeah.
searching for their food. And when they would take all the animals out of there, we would have to rake up all the dry poops,
Ew.
and we would make this big old mountain. Us three, my siblings, my
Uh-huh.
my older brother, me, and my younger brother,
Uh-huh.
and we would pile it up all in a mountain, and we would throw ourselves on the poop.
On the poop?
It was dry. It was like dirt, like dry dirt. It was all,
Oh.
yeah. But as a kid, like you don't think about how many bacterias or
Yeah.
things like that. Like
Like you guys aren't educated on that.
no,
Like you guys just, you know,
yeah, we were just trying to have fun.
yeah.
Like we were kids, like you put a kid to clean, well, he's gonna have some fun. You
Yeah.
put him to do dirty jobs, they're gonna try to have fun, especially if nobody's supervising you. Because
Oh
in
my
Mexico,
God.
you don't get supervised. Like you go outside or you go to the park, take your kid, and you're supervising visually, and you don't pay attention to those things.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, you're on your own, and we would feed the pigs, we would feed the cows, milk the
Oh.
cows, and like feed the and like water the plants. Like they had a big garden, but they were like plant all these vegetables, like so you could survive out there.
Mm-hmm.
And because my dad had a lot of siblings, so it was a big family that they had to maintain. And then little by little, they started, some got married, some left to other towns, and we still stayed there, but we were always trying to help our grandparents.
Yeah.
And I remember my grandma would always be working too in the kitchen, like doing quesos frescos, dulces de leche, dulces de frijol.
Dulce de frijol.
Yeah,
I
so
never heard
bomb.
of that.
Yeah, it's a delicatesse candy. Yeah, that candy. If you guys never tasted it, you guys need to look for the recipe or have your abuelitas make it, cause super bomb.
What the hell? I'm
Heck
barely
yeah.
learning this too, guys. So
Yeah,
you guys.
and my grandma would make anything and everything you can think of.
Wow.
Era un estuche de monería. Mi abuelita era, you know, she was an idol to me. I learned so much from her, and my grandpa too. He was a little bit more strict. He was like dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad was really strict, and
Very mad.
they never hit us. He
They
never
were
hit
very
me, but he
macho.
was very like con su vocesota.
Uh-huh.
He would intimidate me, with
Yeah.
that. That's all it took
And I
for us to be
remember
like,
like grandpa
get up
yelling
and move.
yelling at me when I was younger. He'd be like, "Hey, chinga su
And now he's like more lovable.
madre." I know.
Like the older we get, the more.
The more we realize que la vida nos pasó era como un blip. I
Hmm.
think that's why, like, you know, like siempre whenever we get older or we pass a certain age, I feel like la vida nos humilla, like it humbles us
Yeah.
because it's just like, damn, like yo estuve enojado por esto y
Hmm.
tantos años que me ha pasado.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
if you hold any grudges, it's not good at all. Some people hold it, to the end, and for what? ¿Para qué?
but sometimes I think like it's kind of hard, you know, to not hold certain grudges. For me, at least. Oh, with that. For me, at least speaking, like sometimes there's people in this lifetime that they kind of done us dirty. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it's okay to kind of distance yourself, but don't hold hate.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
it's okay to move yourself away,
Yeah.
pero nunca odiar.
No.
Because the
And
moment you leave room for hate inside you, te va a consumir. You're gonna be hate. You're gonna be a hateful person.
hmm
Like that's how I believe.
health wise, especially,
Mhm.
like pensamos que no, pero it really does. I've learned
Okay.
that along as growing older and
Mhm.
I guess maturing, cause
Yeah.
you know,
Because when I was little, and I'm pretty sure when you were little too, like you would never think stuff like that either.
no.
Pero las cosas de la vida. Ah.
Like it's just crazy how things happen and then you're like, oh, I remember that, you know?
Pues ya que estamos en este tema de, you know, cosas pasando, talk to me or talk to them a little bit about like how was it raising us? Us meaning it's me, my sister Emily, and then tenía un hermano Eric. So vamos a hablar. My mom's gonna talk a little bit about, you know, cómo fue, how was it raising each one of us. Let's
Um,
start off with me.
the golden child.
No, just kidding.
No, I love my all my kids the same. And when I was pregnant from him, I didn't know he was gonna be born that early. I got preeclampsia and I had a high risk pregnancy. And he was 26 weeks when I had him. It was an emergency C-section.
Mm-hmm.
So se tuvo que quedar ahí como unos 2 meses y medio en el hospital. And when I came home 5 days later, after I recovered from having him, it was just crazy. Like, I went into a really bad depression, like coming home with no baby. And it was a little bit of struggle going back and forth to Bakersfield
Yeah.
and back home. And at the time I didn't have my own reliable car, and the other car my husband would take it to work. And well, my dad was working at the time, and it was kind of hard to find someone to take me out there every day.
Mm-hmm.
So every chance my dad had a chance to take me, he would offer. And then when my husband was off, we would head out there and go spend time with him. But it was really hard. I went to like postpartum depression, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in the room, locked in the room, like having all these baby stuff around me. It was just tormenting,
Yeah.
like am I ever gonna have my child? And I didn't tell my mom. I wouldn't tell her like I missed a baby or anything because I didn't want
Yeah.
to worry her.
Damn. So you were like alone
I
through it
was
all, huh?
alone. I mean, I was with your grandpa, your dad's dad,
Uh huh.
at his house because we were living there for a bit.
Yeah.
But I was just in the room, locked in there. I wouldn't even. I remember I told your dad to like put a black curtain because I didn't want to see like the light.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to sleep. Like that's all I wanted to do. But when I would hear somebody be like, "Oh, let's go," so you can visit the baby, I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll jump up and
You
and
like
get out of
take
that depression, like
you
right
take
away.
any chance to go see.
Yeah, and then going to the hospital and spending time there, it was you see all these little babies around you, and I seen all these wired things all around you, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is so hard. It was hard.
Ay,
And then I
no.
would have a chance to take mom and dad. Back then, we could take grandparents, but I don't think they let them now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hold you for the first month, and you had like this little bandana in your eyes. You were connected to so many wires. I couldn't carry you.
It was hell.
Heck yeah, like it was bad. Like who for all those moms that have babies in the hospital, like they need all the love and support you guys can give them because it's hard. Like when you have a child, entre la vida y la muerte, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had a heart murmur, también,
Oh yeah.
un soplo en el corazón, and they had told me when they told me that
I
if
was
you didn't,
like, I was a miracle child.
miracle child, definitely, because they said if you didn't heal from that heart murmur, you had to go to UCLA
Oh
hospital.
wow.
And I was like, forget it. If I'm barely visiting him here, imagine out there in LA.
No
I was
way.
just praying to God, like, he healed, and luckily he did, and thank God, because it was really hard. And then when he came home, I think it was gonna be a week before Halloween.
Mhm.
The nurse calls me and she's like, "Get your car seat ready, cause your baby's ready to come home."
Oh.
I clicked the phone and I told your dad, and I think it was like an afternoon, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's go."
Mhm.
So we left, and there we come with our baby.
And I'm here.
5 pounds later, he was born 2 pounds 21 ounces.
Can you guys believe that? No
Yeah, he
manches.
was so little. You fit like in our hand. Like you could see translucent. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen a little pollito be born, how their skin is like clear and you could see their little
Yeah,
veins. Así te
that's
mirabas.
how I looked.
Yes. Like we
Oof.
still have pictures of him. Like back then we didn't have a camera, but there they would take pictures of them. And I think I have one picture of you when you were born.
And para Emily, how was her birth and how was the experience with Emily?
I was full term. She went over 2 weeks.
Oh damn.
Yeah, she was like
My
42
sister
or
was like,
41
no me
weeks.
quiero salir. Ah.
Yeah. She was, I remember it was so hot. My summer babies, he's August and she's July. And when she was born, it was also another C-section because I also had preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia.
And I remember it was gonna be 4th of July, like in 2 days, and then we tried having her normal. Like I asked the doctor if it was possible for me to have her normal, but since I already had prior C-section, I had to go along. Like they did try. I don't know. They put something in me so I could start opening up, dilating, and I dilated half a centimeter, half of 1 centimeter, which was not. I guess when you have like preeclampsia and it brings high blood pressure, it's very
Mhm.
dangerous because I guess you contract more. And we couldn't, they're like, we can't keep on going no more
Mhm.
because,
Like you were at risk
yeah, I was really at risk. They said if we keep on going, the heart rate is going lower. And
for Emily.
yeah, and my like when you have high blood pressure, the babies, their heart rate goes down. Like, yeah,
Hell.
when they're in the womb.
So
And
yours is going up.
no, my blood pressure is going up.
Oh.
And so it's dangerous. And we tried it, and since they said it was not going to be able to happen, I had to have another C-section. I was like, pues ni modo,
So that's two C-sections.
that's my second C-section. And
And
then,
now we're
oh,
not.
back to your like delivery. I remember like I was numbed from the waist down,
Mhm.
but I could hear everything that's going on. Like, they put this curtain from your waist down,
Mhm.
and my husband's on this side. I remember mom and him were fighting to see who was gonna come in the room with me, because I honestly I wanted both of them there, but
Yeah.
at the end I was all drugged up,
Drowsy.
and I didn't know what was going on. I could hear everybody like, oh, we have to do a C-section, and dad's gonna come in, and he was right there next to me, and he says that he could see them, like how they yank on this little cut, and the
Oh.
doctors are like on a little stepper, like pulling your skin, and
Oh my
yeah,
god.
and this little tiny thing comes out, but it's crazy, like your skin, yeah. And then when he was born, the nurse, she told your dad it was a foreign nurse, and it was so funny because I remember hearing her, and she was like, It's a boy. And I
She
and
sounds. You guys make her sound like she's Italian,
no, she was like
Arabic.
no, like from like the United Kingdom or something.
Oh, it's a boy.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and I remember that she she told him like you can look over the curtain, and he
Hmm.
was like, oh dang, I could see everything, I could see them taking the baby out and all that stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so scary. I don't know how my mom did it.
And then I started crying when they brought you next to me. I'm like, and when they never told us that it was what the sex of the baby was,
Hmm.
nunca se dejaron ver, or maybe you guys were just too small to, let yourselves be seen on the ultrasounds,
Yeah.
because nunca me dijeron que era, or I don't know, it was just maybe a thing that no se miraba. Back then, the technology wasn't that
Yeah.
advanced yet,
This was in 2002.
too. Or if
Yeah.
there probably was, I didn't know.
If it probably was, it's probably because your insurance didn't
Cover,
reach
yeah.
that level
Yeah.
of technology.
So when they brought you next to me and so I could look at you, I remember looking at you, and I told your dad, I told you it was a boy. Like I knew it was a
Uh-huh.
boy. I felt it was a boy.
Did I open my eyes?
Yeah,
Or
you
like,
were like,
was I
you know,
fidgeting?
yeah, you were so small though.
Damn.
You were tiny.
How did
Like
I survive?
by all that technology they had connected to you. You had a ventilator connected to you. You had all kinds of
I
stuff.
was an
You had a
experiment.
PIC line in your stomach, like
A pick line?
yeah, like they would feed you through the belly
Oh
button,
my
because
god.
you didn't have the lungs were not strong enough yet
Oh damn. And I still managed to survive.
to pull through.
Oh.
You're a miracle, baby. You wanted to live.
Oh. Oh well. Now we're gonna talk about my baby brother. It's gonna be a little bit touchy subject for both of us.
Oh no! And then your sister, when
Oh, we
yeah,
were
you're
talking about her.
skipping. We didn't say the whole story.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was about to be 4th of July, and I remember I was so happy because, and then when she was born and they brought her to me, and then I told her dad, I told you it was a girl, and it was a girl. I was always right. Like every time I guessed it out,
Uh huh.
like I felt it. I guess as a mom, you feel it.
Yeah.
And when she was born, she got to stay with me in the room, like while I was recovering, and it was just like so much different than his scary, when he was
Experience.
experienced when he was born.
Hmm.
And yeah, we were
And
all
then she decided to have one more.
yeah, 3 years later. Then my babies were planned, and then he was born, and something was wrong, but they never told me what until that day that they had to take him in. Obviously, because he was also born early. He was 27 weeks when he was born. He was 2 pounds 15 ounces.
Who, Eric?
Yeah, 15 ounces, I think.
Oh.
And he had to stay also in the hospital, and that's when 3 days later, they had to transfer him to Children's Hospital
Mm-hmm.
because he was missing a main artery from the heart. And 3 days later, they send him out to 3 pounds later, and 3 days later, they sent him out to Madeira. So that was another,
Like scary
scary
pregnancy.
pregnancy. And after he was born, since they were all C-sections, I decided to tie my tubes
Mm-hmm.
and call it quits because there was already three three C-sections, and it was just,
But what happened? You didn't explain.
oh, with the baby.
Uh huh.
Well, he was born without an artery, so he was sent to Children's Hospital, and he was there, growing, and then they did a surgery on him, like a open heart surgery,
Mm-hmm.
when he was 3 pounds. Oh my God, like 3 pounds is he was
He
tiny
was three.
still.
Oh damn.
He was 3 pounds when he had the first surgery, and they did
Mm-hmm.
a surgery where they had to tighten one of the arteries that was
Mm-hmm.
there, because normally our blood flows
Like one way in, one way out.
Yeah, but since it was missing the other one, they had to tighten it with like a little band
Mm-hmm.
so it could leak slowly because eventually the lungs were gonna get flooded with blood
Oh
if
my God.
if it was leaking so fast.
Yeah.
So um, they they started every time we would go out there, every time we had a chance, we would rent a room at the Ronald McDonald's house because at the time I remember it was like the economy had went down or
Mm-hmm.
something was happening at the time where we because usually people don't pay at the Ronald McDonald's house, like it's like there that's what it's there for, a program for parents who stay
Mm-hmm.
there while their baby's in the hospital recovering. But I remember that time we had to pay like rent a room for us to
Yeah.
stay there. And it wasn't much, but not being able to work and having to go visit you and being there, both of us, and not working, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Like it was hard to save money, and it was hard like coming back and forth, and we just never asked nobody for nothing. Like we
Mm-hmm.
we managed to somehow get
Get
by,
through.
get through.
Yeah, guys. And I remember, like, I'm gonna talk a little bit on my perspective. Like, how old was I? Like 8?
No, you 6.
I was 6.
Yeah,
I
6.
was 6 years old, but I remember so much. Like, I think I remember so much that it's actually kind of crazy to me. Like, I remember when we were driving to the children's hospital, we got there, and they took my brother to um, to get the surgery, the open
Mhm.
heart surgery.
Mhm.
Y nomás me recuerdo que yo and mi hermana, we were just reading books, and I vividly remember reading Go Diego Go, right?
Yeah,
Like I was
they had a
reading,
lot of toys for kids.
y, and we thought that it was just a visit, a normal visit, and but something inside me, like I kind of like was already aware, like I was, how do we say? I feel like I was a bit mature,
Mhm.
but not that immature, but I feel like I was aware for my age.
Like se portaban bien, like
Mhm.
no eran chiflados. Like I didn't have to be chasing after you guys.
Yeah.
Like you guys, I don't know. You like I think you guys were maturing along with us. Like
Mhm.
you're like okay, we know we're a hospital, we have to behave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Like we.
I've always been a little bit strict because I just didn't like them to be like acting up in other people's places. If you don't act up at home, why should you be acting up anywhere else? Like
Yeah.
pórtate bien.
Yeah. And like back to the little story, that my perspective on the experience that I had with my brother. Um, Nomás yo recuerdo que like it was just silent. Like I would hear the doctors working. Like you can hear the scuffle. Like
Mhm.
all the doctors moving around,
Mhm.
and I like there was a curtain,
Mhm.
and then I just remember like seeing my mom and dad like coming out
Where this in
the
children's
children's
hospital
hospital
or?
whenever the day that the last moment.
Oh no, that was well when the baby was in the hospital, he had that surgery. Then he was about 2 months and a half when one of the nurses, which was in her position to tell me that if I was scared because he was going through all these running, doing all these tests on him and stuff when he was still growing.
Mhm.
And then he kind of got like in a stable position where he was stable, and they're like, okay, he's better. Like, there's not much to do, he could go
Mhm.
home. And I was like, whoa, like, go home.
Mm. That's weird.
Like, that's like, but he's sick, like, he has this condition,
Yeah.
and it was kind of scary. Like, I don't want to take him home.
And then
But then the nurse told me, she's like, well, if you don't take him home, CPS will take over. And I was like, oh, heck no.
what the hell? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she actually got in trouble for that. Like, we
Oh my
told the main
god.
doctor, and she got in trouble. And I was
Wow.
super scared. And then they told me, well, you're not going to take him just like that. We're going to train you
Mhm.
to do the things that you need to do for him at home.
Mhm.
For you, and I told her, like, I don't care. I'll learn whatever I need to learn. I want to take him home. I'm not gonna leave him here.
Yeah.
And then I had to learn how to. listen to like a certain noise and with stethoscope and listen to that noise that make sure it's in his stomach, the
Mhm.
little hose,
Mhm.
and make sure that it's not in his lungs. Once I
Oh.
would put the NG tube down his nose, I
Yeah.
had to learn how to put that on. I had to
Damn.
do the the resuscitation like with two fingers because they're babies.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to do that and CPR también on little babies, and it was hard. Like it was so scary.
Oh, so that's where the story ends, right? So you took him home, and then I kind of remember that one
It
night.
was 1 week, 1 week
Oh,
that we had him at home.
okay. And then I remember clearly though waking up like in the middle of the night, and then we
No,
we rushed.
no, it was a visit that he had because he had visits to the children's hospital every week. So
Oh.
when we left the hospital, when we brought him home,
Uh
it
huh.
was already 5 days. So we had to take him to the hospital. It was gonna be
Mhm.
the 6th day, and we had to take him to children's hospital to get another checkup. It was like a weekly checkup on him,
Yeah.
all the way to to Madeira up north. And when we we had went over there, I had told the doctor that he asked me, has he gone through any spells?
Mhm.
And I told him, no, he's actually doing pretty good. He's actually, drinking milk out of the bottle. I don't have to put it down the NG tube. And like, just good things were happening. And he had this special car seat that was like flat
Mhm.
because normally the other ones are like curved.
Yeah.
And he needed to be in a flat one because since he had the heart condition, he had to lay flat because if he was like kind of bent, he couldn't like breathe
Breathe.
right.
Yeah.
So it was a special car seat that we had to put him on. It was just like flat. And then when we were coming back from that checkup, when from his specialist, the cardiologist, we were on the road. I remember driving on the freeway, and we were all together, and the baby started like grunting and kind of getting pale.
Mhm.
So I'm like, he doesn't look good. So let me take him out. Maybe he's uncomfortable. Maybe he's hot because it
Mhm.
was September, um,
Mid
mid
September.
September, and I was like, let me take him out, like so he could calm down, and he did. He
It was
did calm down.
26, huh?
Yeah,
Right?
por ahí, yeah, and he calmed down and went back to sleep. So since we were on the freeway, your
Mhm.
dad was driving. I had to put him back down, when he calmed down, and I locked him back in the car seat, and we got home like around 9 p.m. It was gonna be 10, I think.
Mhm.
And then he started doing it again. Like, when I noticed that he was not eating it every 2 hours like he should have been,
Yeah.
I told your dad, like, something's wrong with him. Like,
Mhm.
we have to, um, um,
Like it
like,
check him
get him to check, somebody check him. And he's like, okay. And I didn't want to bother, like, mom, dad, because it was already late. I knew that
Uh-huh.
he had to go to work.
Oh, so
So
this is the part that I remember, huh? When we're
So we were
driving
at
there.
home, and then we noticed that the baby was grunting again and getting pale again, and
Uh-huh.
he didn't want to eat. And I told him, like, let's go to the hospital. Like, something's
And
wrong.
this
Like,
the hospital was in Madera, huh?
no, we had got back from Madeira.
Oh.
We got home from Madeira, and then
Mhm.
from Madeira, we were at home, and that's when I noticed that he was not okay.
So then we have to go back?
So we had to go to Bakersfield because it was the nearest one. So we went
Oh.
back to Kern Medical.
Uh-huh.
And when we get there, the emergency room is super packed,
Oh yeah,
like
I seen it.
super
Like
packed.
there's dead people right there waiting to get seen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember one time I passed by there, like the emergency back then. I bet you it was worse, but like still today, like if you go there, like there's people pending in the like lobby.
yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like we're never gonna get in. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna take forever all night.
Mhm.
And then you guys were with us, and you guys couldn't be like, I didn't want to have you guys right there next to the sick people, and it was just
Yeah.
crazy. So I stayed with you guys in the waiting room, and your dad went inside with the baby because the only reason why he got seen and pulled back there so quick was because he was an infant, and his vitals were super
Dropping.
low, dropping big time. So he goes back there and with the baby, and I stay with you guys, and
Hmm.
I could hear him crying because I don't know, they were starting like to look for IV, and
Like
when they,
something was starting to get worse. It was
yeah, like
something was
I
starting.
knew something was not right because
Yeah.
they took him in so fast. And if you guys know, Kern Medical takes forever to get you in to the through the emergency room. So your dad comes out rushing, super mad, like
He was.
azotando puertas, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Like, calm down."
Oh my
He's
god.
like, "Go back there because they're poking the baby and making him cry so much." And I was just like, "Okay, calm down, like chill." And I'm like, "Well, we'll switch. You stay with the kids."
Yeah.
So yeah, I go back there, and it's just feels like I'm in a, like it just feels so weird. Like I just felt so zoned out
So,
because stop. Like they just told me to get out of the way and sit down like next to where they were working on the baby. They had him like in this little bed, and there was probably like about 20 doctors in there. And I sat down, and I think we got there like at 9 or 10,
hmm,
and I didn't realize like so much time had gone by. I don't know. I think I just like dozed off, like in another.
like it was like such a blur that.
Yeah, like I didn't know if I didn't wanna realize what was happening. Like I
Yeah.
think I just like blocked myself out, and I just
Hmm.
sat down, and I was just praying. I'm like, it's not happening. It's
Yeah.
not happening. And then I just remember like he got tired of crying so much because they were trying to find a vein on him, and I guess from his blood not flowing anymore, and just the vitals going down. He just got tired of crying, so he fell asleep. And I was just, sitting down. They were doing their thing, and I just remember praying, and I just looked up back at him, and he was so peaceful. And I remember he would have a hard time um, breathing.
Hmm.
Like he would have like he
He
would
would
have
like
this breathing like
like
agitated,
fast. He would
like a
like take a
agitated
deep breath, but it
breathing.
didn't go all the way through.
And that day, like when I looked up at him, and like he opened his eyes, like it was this bright light on him, and he opened his eyes, and he took this deep breath,
Hmm.
and you could just see like the sparkle in his eyes where he had like, now I can rest.
Hmm.
like like I seen it on his eyes, and I was
Like you
just
were
like,
looking at him.
yeah, like I looked at him, and
Oh.
when I seen he took his last breath, it was like his sigh was so
Like relieved.
relief, like a
Uh huh.
relief, like now I can rest. Like when I seen that he took his last breath and he opened his eyes and he went back to sleep, like at the same time I felt like a relief too. I felt a relieved also because I knew he was not suffering no more. But in the inside, I was like, I'm never gonna be able to see him again. You know, but at the beginning, I would ask myself, I would ask God, why him, why him? But later on,
The answers were there.
I realized that, it was his calling, and we're here because of him, and we're just borrowed time, that you just have to cherish the moment. And I am very grateful that he let me see him at least
The
be
last time.
born and be there with him. And it's like a part of you goes. with them, and like your life is never the same. But I knew I had you guys there to, to comfort with.
Mhm.
Me comfort you guys, and you guys comfort me.
Yeah.
But
I'll always be here for you.
I know you will.
And I think that's the exact like you guys don't for you guys that are just listening to this story, like this is something that we don't share. We don't bring up because it's very touchy and like that's the exact reason why, you know, I feel like me and my mom we connect on a different level. No más porque I was her first son, but because I'm the one that's kind of seen her, through all her phases, through all the bad moments, the good moments, and like I'm just grateful to have her.
And I'm
And
grateful for you guys too.
I don't know what I would do like without you. Like I don't know what we would do without each other.
Yeah.
But gracias a Dios que todavía estamos aquí.
Like I've I've learned a lot from you guys, and you guys learn from us, obviously.
Mhm.
And we help each other out, but never, just never stay mad at each other.
Yeah.
Like always talk about, your problems, your issues. Don't choose the, you know, the
The dark side.
the staying mad at each other. And
Yeah, I think that's what me and my mom and like our family we're very big on communication, and I think that's why we've grown as a family. And like we've
yeah, cause
like a lot of people siempre knows, like they always tell you like amigas or you know
because
people.
I we didn't have communication in my family, like with my mom and my dad. Like everybody was just like to themselves. But
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, I think it's just, like I said, he's helped me, learn a lot of stuff, just how I've helped him, and teach him things too.
Yeah.
And you never stop learning.
Yep. I know that was a lot, guys, huh? That was a lot. I wasn't ready. Well, I knew that the topic was gonna come up, pero no, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you, though. Like
Don't,
you're my beautiful queen. Like hablando de la muerte. It's just like it hits.
pues es la realidad, and we have to go through it, aunque no nos guste. We just have to enjoy the moments that we're together, and make the best of it.
I know.
And instead of being mad, or sad or depressed, just make the best of it, man, because we never know when it's our last day.
Pues hablando de um, moms now, and my mom sharing her story. I want to ask you this last question. Like, what's some advice that you could give mothers out there that have dealt with your situation, like with Eric, or that are having kids? They have kids and they're young. What's some advice that you could give them?
Have a lot of patience with your kids, and don't just go get pregnant just because you think you're
Andas
gonna,
calenturita.
or just because you think you're gonna tie down someone, by having a kid. Don't do that mistake. You know, there's gonna be plenty of time for you guys to be ready. And I know we all have to make our own mistakes, but just have a lot of patience, and use protection. Like there's
Yes.
no reason. Like there's so much protection out there, nowadays for kids, and for anybody. Sometimes you're an older person, and you don't want to have a kid, and you just make the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And this is the last and final question, you guys. what is some advice that you could give para los hijos, las hijas que están mirándonos? What is some advice that you could give them about like that they have their mother right now? Like what's some advice? Like ¿qué les
Um,
quieres decir que ahorita tienen su mamá?
Aprecien a sus mamás y entiéndanlas. Like, a lot, you might be annoyed by your parents, your mom or your dad, but trust me, you learn. You learn as you go, as you get older, you mature more. Uh,
Just be compassionate.
yeah.
Be patient, like my mom said.
Just always remember that the things that they tell you is for a good reason and they only want the best for you. You might not want to get it right now because you're just stubborn, young, and dumb and don't care. Like you're just selfish because that
Mhm.
some kids are selfish when they're
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
They don't get it until they grow older.
O algo les pasa,
O
o
algo
algo le
pasa.
pasa a la mamá, y
And then
hasta
it's
ese
too late.
momento, yeah.
And then it's too late, like you
Valoren
wish.
a su mamá, you know. You
Always
guys don't have to
respect
give
them.
her money. You guys don't have to
Yeah.
give her lujos. Lo único que las mamás quieren, and now I know, from my personal experience, like my mom just cares that we're healthy, que estamos, we're keep on moving forward, and we just love ourselves.
Más que
Yeah.
nada, siempre ámense a sí mismos and amen a sus padres. No importa what situation. La mamá es, the mom is
The creator.
the
Mhm.
creator, and, she's always going to want the best for you.
Mhm. Your mom created you con el poder de Dios también, pues.
Con Dios
Mhm.
always
Well,
in your heart.
this was a beautiful episode. Okay, guys, if you guys want to see more content on me and my mom, a different episode, maybe different subjects, comment down below if you guys want to see another episode with me and my mom. So I think this brings us to the end. Feliz Dia de las Madres.
Feliz Día de las
I
Madres a
love
todas
you
las
always.
madrecitas.
I love you guys. Sigue siendo bad bitches.
Luchadoras,
Yes.
chingonas.
Como pobrecita to just kidding. Alright.
We
Bye,
love
guys.
Jenny 69.
Bye.
Bye.